Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review. So today's topic is going to be the latest iteration of the summon pool, specifically the Revenant summon pool. By now, I think we're all pretty familiar with the system, but this is nonetheless highlighting one of the more recent faction unity champions, that being the one from the Knights Rev, which is Losan Cleth. He does sound pretty interesting in his kit overall. He's one of the few taunt champions in the game. He also has this insane ability that it's like an HP balance, but also like a turn meter balance, but negative for the enemies, and so it's kind of ridiculous. So it's a massive heal, but also probably the biggest turn meter manipulation in the entire game. But aside from that, he has a pretty decent A1, can play some weaken, an interesting A3, kind of like a transfer debuff type deal. But I think the most important thing really to know is more about his passive here with the faction unity aspects, and so he can protect himself with block damage, which makes him a great tank. But also, if you have a full team, then he can get an instant turn whenever he's attacked just by being hit. So he can cut in, and if he does, that means that the enemy just finished their turn, meaning that their turn meter is back down at 0 because he cuts in and got the instant turn, and then he can do this turn meter unbalance thing and send everyone else's turn meter back to 0. I assume that requires accuracy to do that, so you have to build with accuracy if you do happen to get him. But nonetheless, again, it's unique, it's different, so it's something pretty cool. On top of that, I think what's kind of underrated here is that the two faction allies, he can reduce the effect of ignore defense effects by 100%. So Harima just innately is 50%. This would be 100%. So you cannot ignore any of his defense, and he is of course a defensive based legendary. So again, kind of a tank, synergizes well with like Narcisse and Korra, maybe like a Crixie if you happen to have her, Hegemons, and just Knights Revenant in general. He can work on some teams. But yeah, that is the headline champion, so the most likely outcome if you were to hit a legendary from your summon. But if you don't happen to get him, then Korra is always decent previous fusion, but she's really solid in the arena. Calvalax is like the goat for like poison explosion speed runs for certain things. Theodore, one of the best solo champions in the game with the poisons and the poison sensitivity and the activation thereof. But Truoth, is this Truoth or Giath? Sorry, the Truth Shield, not really that impressive by comparison. So, but any of the other three would be pretty decent. As far as the epics go, Knights Revenant definitely has one of the most underwhelming selection of epics, but nonetheless, Rected Wrath is always useful, good for Hydra, good for just general support. Faction Warriors Doom Priest is good in a lot of different areas. Relentless Set for her passive. Miscreated Monster can be good if you're progressing in Spider. Thylesia is the only accessible AoE decreased defense champion in the entire faction, and then Malkith Bloodflock is another reviver for the faction if you need that for Faction Wars. In terms of the odds, it is exactly where we expect them to be at this point. 6% legendary, 94% epic, so effectively a sacred shard, and this is going to cost you 40 prism fragments to summon, and there is one free summon up for grabs in the Sand Devil Turn Attack tournament, which is pretty par for the course. 6,300 points up there in the upper milestone if you want to guarantee yourself one shot at something from that pool. And you can see here, I'm not doing it, so spoiler alert once again. This is just, a lot of these are in the middle of fusions where I'm more focused on getting the fusion champion because that is something that is guaranteed versus a just random chance to get something else. And so there's just not a lot of incentive for me to go all out for certain things like this, unless there was like a bunch of champions that I really, really wanted, but that just hasn't been the case for a very, very long time. But for a lot of people that are skipping the fusion, the Esme the Dancer fusion, fragment summon, whatever, then, you could be working on Sand Devil if you have a decently fast team and you can try your luck and hopefully you get something good there. Again, there's not that many legendaries in the pool this time around. There's only a handful, including the headline champion, so that might dissuade people even more. But some people really like to try their luck on faction unity champions. So best of luck to you. All things considered, though, I do think it is a bit of a shame when they do these ones that only have one like free air quotes source in order to get it, and it's usually the default of Sand Devil. But even when it's paired with like a Soul Chase that doesn't have boosted rates, it's kind of just dissuading people from trying to enter these for the free ones. And so I think they could do a little bit of a better job trying to offer more like accessible events. It could be a challenge tournament, Night Rev Dragon or something that's less intensive than like, do you have a good Sand Devil team, but also still more accessible than just hope you have a bunch of soul stones, So I wish they would do a little bit more to kind of have better options, or maybe just throw them into part of the fusion. So like right now, like I talked about, we're doing the Esme the Dancer fusion. Maybe in the normal Dragon tournament, 1,800 points, or maybe 2,750, whatever you want to call it. Something in here, you just throw it in there. Maybe you have to go a little bit further than the fragments, but it would be nice. It's like, oh, hey, I'm doing the fusion. I'm already running Dragon, and so it's cool. I can go a little bit further and get a free summon from the summon pool. I don't know. I wish they would do it a little bit more like that, unless always Sand Devil in the middle of a fusion or middle of a Titan event or middle of something else where people might be incentivized to do something else. So anyways, I digress. Let me know in the comment section down below what your plans are relative to this summon pool, the Revenant summon pool. Do you plan to go for the free summon from the Sand Devil, i.e. you're skipping the fusion, or you have nothing better to spend your energy on over the coming few days? Or are you also skipping it like myself? As always, if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. And feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as well if you are enjoying the content on this channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.